Hello and welcome back to GoodKnitKisses. I'm your host Kristen, and today we are going to work on the cross stitch cowl. And the cross stitch cowl came out because I had got a Zippy master set here and then a big blanket yarn from Bernat and made this very giant cowl, which I'll show in another picture later. But this Zippy, you actually don't have to use a master set. All you need is 6 of the Zippy looms, and you're going to need 2 of the straight or simple connectors, and then you're going to need 4 of these corner connectors here. So there's videos on how to put that together. We're going to get started. Mine's already put together, and I'll show a picture of that right now with how to set up your loom. So it's going to look like a big rectangle. You're going to grab your yarn. Today I'm using Charisma Big. Now you can get a solid or you can get one that's variegated. This is really a long color changing yarn. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to pull 3 strands from one. So this is sort of a 2-in-1 tutorial. We're going to make this from the beginning to the end. And we're also going to pull these color changes. And I want you to see how I do it. And because it can be kind of finicky, because I want to keep all the colors together rather than have them separated. So anyway, let's get started. Grab your yarn. You're going to need about 30 yards if you're doing one single strand, or 90 yards if you're going to pull 3 from one. So let's get started. Okay, this is our loom setup. We're going to have simple connectors connecting 2 long zippies on either side, and then you've got your corner connectors and then your zippy on the end. So connect everything and leave one to the end of it, and then pop this in. To start off, we need either your really big thick strand if you're going to be using the big yarn, or you're going to want to get 3 strands together. So you're going to put it in like kind of an S like this, enough to get a tail going, plus some. All right, so I'm going to gather these together. I'm going to make a slip knot. This is how I make a slip knot. I'm going to wind around my finger, pull the back over the front, and then back over the front again. And then we have our slip knot. Okay, so I've got these 3 strands and this little loop here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my loop. Okay, let me put these ends out like this. I'm going to take my loop and I'm going to pull through this long strand. This is coming from the ball here. So we're going to pull this through. Okay, now if you see I've got a color change, I'm going to just back this up. All right. So I'm backing it up. Now on this first one, the color change is pretty quick, so I'm paying attention, and so I just put it all next to each other and see where my color change stops. So it starts becoming green here. So I know this is very short. It's not going to all be short like this, but if you're variegated, it changes more rapidly. You'll have to do short ones. So now I have 3 strands together here, right? So then I can put this this loop over this one and pull this through, and it starts becoming the next color, right? So for now, I'm not going to pull very much, okay? But I just want to get that going, so I've got a longer section here. So now we're going to get our loom ready. This is a 1/2 hitch cast on. I'm going to put our slip knot in and go ahead and put it on the peg. Put your tail on the inside, okay? And now we're going to do this is a thumb cast on or a 1/2 hitch cast on. It's like a reverse E-wrap. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take my thumb. Actually, in the loom, I think it's easier using your fingers. So you're going to pull on it back to the back, grab it, twist it, and put it down. Okay, so this part here, the working strand, actually goes below on the peg. Okay, not above like an E-wrap. We're going to pull that to tighten it. Then we'll do it again. Pull it back, flip it, and put it down. Okay, come around the back of this next peg, pull back, flip it, and put it down. Okay, and you can even tug on the back of here, because a 1/2 hitch cast on is actually very loose, and so once you're finished, you'll want to come through and get all those tightened up. Okay, all right, so now we're on the next one, and I've got my loop here. And I want to make sure and start pulling through more. So I'm going to go through more. And I have a little bit of a color change. I'm going to allow that slight color changing because it's still in the green family. And we're going to pull it and come down here until I stop seeing the green. So I'm just pulling one strand. And if you can see, the other one is moving. And I just keep going until I get to the next color. So we're going to continue on, go back, make your half hitch, go back, make the half hitch, half hitch. So continue around, and I'll meet you back up in a minute when you've got all the stitches cast on. All right, so we're back. I've got one peg left. I'm going to go ahead and cast that on, and then I'm going to go back to the beginning from the inside here, and I'm just going to tighten up either with my finger or with this tool here and pull on it and pull the extra slack out. And I want you to see how much slack I have left. So I'm pulling in a motion that's going to continue to guide the extra amount towards my working strand coming from the ball. See how I'm pulling this out here? Because it's such a large loom, I want to make sure and get all that extra slack out. On a smaller loom, you might not need to because the stitches are small, but this one, the stitches are very large. Okay, see how much I got out? I got out a couple extra inches, and then I'm just going to pull that tight. So this one where the tail is going to mark my peg 1, and I'm just going to remember that. Now you could put like a double rubber banded down here at the bottom to show what your first stitch is, and that's totally fine. Okay, so we're going to go on to round 1. We're going to knit. All the stitches on here are going to be knit as U-knit, not E-wrap. So I'm going to pull to the back here and knit this over. And that first stitch is going to be very tight. All the E-wraps, all the half hitches, we want to be tight on here because I really don't want them to be super loose. So it's almost a flat knit on this first round. So I'm going to pull back, go all the way around this round with the U-knit. So continue around, and I'll meet you back in a minute. Now you can see that I have run out here, and that actually took me quite a ways around. That color change is pretty long. So all I do when I come to the end here is I've got a little loop. I just start pulling more through. It doesn't matter if I take it from the front side or the back side. It works very nice. So now I'm going to pull off camera here. You won't be able to see it. Okay, so I'm pulling through, and I got to this color change here, and it's blue. So what I need to do is off camera, which you won't see, is I'm going to pull on this, and I'm going to get the end of where these two colors start meeting. I'm going to get this to the end of these two. Okay, so at the end here is what I've got. See how that works? Okay, so it starts becoming the blues. I'm just going to go ahead and let that not be so technical, but I'm just going to line those up that way. And continue working around. I'll meet you back up on that last stitch. Okay, so I'm come to the end of round 1. I'm going to knit this last stitch, and we're going to begin with the purl stitch. So round 2 is purl. So put that working strand below your first loop, pull up like you're pulling up from the ocean, take that loop off, and put the new one back on. So work round 2 in a purl, and I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, we're on the last peg, and now we're going to do this again. I'm not going to go through it. I'm just going to tell you the next 2 rounds. So the next 2 rounds are knit all the way around and then purl all the way around. So let's continue going on. Again, it's the U-knit, and it's going to be obviously easier to knit this all the way around. And then the purl, usually takes longer. So meet me back up after you have knit around and purled around. All right, we're on the last peg. Now we are on round 5. Round 5 is where we get set up for the cool, fantastic part. This is called the Indian cross stitch. The Indian cross stitch is usually crossed 2 by 2. In my Loom Knit Retreat cowl, or Chic Retreat cowl, I have 3 sets of them. You can choose to do more sets. I'm just doing one in this particular pattern. What we will do is, first of all, let me finish this last stitch out. That last stitch is a purl, and then we're going to do something where we knit 1. So this is peg 1, and we're going to repeat this everywhere. Peg 1, we're going to knit, then we're going to wrap it. Okay, wrap twice. If you want to get brave and wrap another time, you can. If you work with the big yarn, you won't be able to. So I'm just going to keep it how I did it on the other. So I've wrapped 1, 2, and then I'm going to come and knit this next one. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap 1, 2. Okay, so it's going to look like this. All right, so we're going to keep going. We're going to knit and wrap 1, 2. All right, keep going, and I'll meet you back up when all the pegs have had 2 wraps on them. Okay, so I'm almost done with this round. I'm going to knit this stitch and go ahead and wrap our yarn here. And then I'm going to hold this aside. And actually, let me go ahead and get a little bit of this started here. Okay, just to hold my stitches here. All right, now forget about this one just for a moment. What we're going to do is unwrap all these stitches here. So just go through and pop these loose ones off. Now, not this one. All right, so you're just, if I tilt this, you're going to take these and pop them off. Okay, it's easier to me to go to the next stitch over and pull from this open spot here and pop it off. All right, so if you need to see that from the top, it's right here, and pop that off. Some people kind of work from the back, you know, so that's fine, and however you like to work it. And then what we're going to do is go around, meet back up, and I'm going to show you how we're going to tug on that yarn. Go ahead and do that, pause, and I'll meet you back in a moment. Okay, so I am to the end here. Now, this last stitch, don't worry about it. You're actually going to go ahead and unwrap it. I know it's loose. We're going to pull down all these stitches here, and you're going to end up working in the length that you need for this one. So I just kind of put my finger back here and tug on this knitting, okay? And what happens is, you see it from the back? You start getting your stitches pulled out like that. So there it is, nice and messy. And then see how I need to elongate this one. I want to measure it out and get the right size. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this to the back or to the side here. I'm not actually going to do anything with it. I'm going to pick up the first 2 stitches. Okay, just going to hold them with my fingers, and then I'm going to walk over 2. So I pick up stitch 3 and 4 and move them over to peg 1 and 2. Okay, so now I have crossed these. It looks like this in the back, and now we're going to keep going. So I pick up the next 2 stitches and I walk these over. It's like a cable would do, except it's so big I don't even have to use a cable needle. I just use my fingers, and then I just stretch it across and I keep going. So continue doing this all the way around your loom, and I'll meet you back in a minute. Okay, I'm coming to the last 4 here. I'm going to pick these 2 up, cross them over, and remember this extra yarn here. Okay, it's going to get a little long on you, and that's okay. Just keep going. So now we're just going to purl all the way around. Okay, just purl that peg. Purl the second. And once you do these, all these long crossed drop stitches, or your Indian cross stitch, will be locked in. Meet you back in a moment, and we'll go on to round 8. Okay, we're coming to the last one. We're going to purl that, and now what we want to do is we're going to do 3 more rounds. You're going to do a knit round, and then you'll do a purl round and another knit round. So I'm going to knit this again. We're doing the U-knit stitch, and not the flat, and not, you could do a flat, but I'm not doing the flat or E-wrap. So go around, then do another round of knit, another round of purl, and then another round of knit, and we will bind off. See you back in a moment. I just finished my last peg, and now I want to bind off. And how we're going to do that is make sure that you have plenty of this yarn over here that you've pulled through. I'm going to pick up a really giant hook. I can't remember which one this is. Yeah, I think it's a P. We're going to pick up the last loop. Okay, pick that up, grab our hook, and we're doing the chain bind off. we're going to yarn over and pull it through. Okay, so if you've never done crochet before, you have to kind of turn it so that it falls in this teardrop here and it hooks in here. And then we're going to pick up this next one and put it on our hook, and we're going to turn it and pull it through. Okay, now we're going to yarn over, turn it and pull it through. All right, so all you're going to do is continue by picking one up, pulling it through, then taking the back over the front. It'll be tight. Then we're going to make it not so tight by yarning over and then chaining. So this is what I called the chain bind off. So pick one up, pick up a loop. This is a stitch. Put the stitch on, work it over like that. You can use your fingers or you can turn it. If you're not familiar with turning, use your fingers. That's fine. And then chain one. Okay, if you really wanted something stretchy, you could chain two. I would not recommend it for this one. And then pull that on through and chain. Okay, lift it up, put it in. If you want to turn it, you're just turning it like this. See how it turns and then pulls right through. That's how that works. And then chain. So I want you to work your way around, and I'll meet you back up when you've got one last one on your hook. Okay, we're down to our last two stitches. I'm going to pull these through, yarn over and pull through, and then I've got one last stitch. I'm going to pick this stitch up, put it on just like we've been doing, and that just messed that up. Pull that over, and then I'm going to tighten that up a little bit, not too tight. Go ahead and yarn through that last one. All right, now I'm going to pull this on through, but first I've got to cut this. And go ahead and pull that all the way through. So now that I've got that pulled on through, now we can go and finish out our knitting. Our knitting is never done when you finish like this. You've got this little hole and you're like, what is that? So what you're going to do is take your hook. I'm using this one. I can use this one. Sorry, I just grabbed the wrong one. Want to pull through this top chain here, and you want to find, you want to kind of study your work. This is on anything. And look where your chains are here. And so this one needs to pull through here. So we're going to pick this up, yarn over, and pull it all the way around. And then we're going to go through and pull it around here again. And we're just going to pull that on through there. And this is so big that I can just pull them on through. It's no big deal. Pull those on through, and then I can finish weaving that in. I'm going to pull it to the back here. And then weave in my stitches onto the inside. And if you feel like you have to knot it, I mean, you can do that. I don't like to put a knot in. I like to go through the back of the these knit stitches where the purl bump is, and just work it in through there to kind of go back and get it to kind of lock on each other. So when you have it to where you want it, you can go ahead and cut that strand. I have my beginning yarn here, right here, and then I'll weave this in, and then I'll have my cowl, and I've got my stitches for my cross drop stitch, so you can make sure and pull on those. Make sure that they're all set up nice. Remember that cross drop stitch we did? Isn't that cool? And so I'll weave that in later so you can see what that looks like. And then we have my other one. Clearly, I'm going to show you your tension. When your tension is tight, it's going to be tighter. This one was looser because I was extravagantly looser and very relaxed. You can tell I was not as relaxed here. Well, thank you again for joining me for the cross stitch cowl. I am super glad that you came by. I hope you have a great time with yours. Let me know about it and post pictures of it to our Facebook page, and so we can all enjoy it and share together. Thank you again for joining me at Good Knit Kisses. Be sure to like and subscribe, and click that button so you can receive more in your inbox every time a new tutorial is up. Have a great day and happy looming.